back to the channel. More Blood and Plunder here as we continue our coverage after Adepticon. So we're continuing on with Raise the Black just to get through that. Incidentally, for those watching at the time, new Kickstarter out for Blood and Plunder. Go check that out. A lot of new exciting stuff there. But today, or the previous video, we took a look at the actual just British Army, right? So like the mainline British Army. Today, we have their counterpart in the British Royal Navy. And again, certainly capable of fighting on land, plenty of great units there, still able to kick butt, but obviously with the Navy and the list, right, it's going to be advantageous to be fighting on the water with it. So let's jump in. We got several things going on with the Force special rules, and then we'll take a look at the units and command options. So in this one, it's nice, all Sea Dogs and Able Seamen, which, is your core, right, gain the tough special rule just right off the bat. So yeah, so basically your Sea Dogs and your Able Seamen just have that on top of everything else that they do normally. So you're not paying any extra points for that. That's just there. So an incentive certainly to consider taking several of those units, right? Not that you would, or as you would already anyway, because again, they're core, but that's just fantastic, right? On top of that, very aggressive force here in the sense that we get a +4 for when determining the attacker in a scenario, right? Again, great stuff there, and we touched on these guys just for a second. We'll get there in a second or a little bit later, but fantastic support units in the list as well. Finally, we saw this or something like this a little bit earlier in a different video, but the Force's commander may spend 2 command points to issue either a reload or shoot action to all units assigned to artillery with the expert artillery crew special rule within his command range. Note that the broadside special rule will apply if the commander has it. So being on a ship, right, and ideally with the right commander, that's also something to factor in depending on the point size that you're playing at, but being able to affect as many of your crew or units with that special rule and just getting that effect there. Again, economy of actions is one of the best ways to have success in this game, aside from just making some competent choices throughout the game. But if you can be more efficient in a game like this with the resource mechanics that Blood and Plunder has, you will generally do better than your opponent, especially if you can also find ways to get free actions. This, with the economy of actions here, right, you're being able to affect multiple units for the spending of 2 command points. Normally 2 command points spent would affect 2 separate units. Here you can have this umbrella effect of that as long as they're in your command range. Fantastic stuff, really something to really dive into when you're building this list, and just how you want to run it, really based off of that alone. That just opens up so many interesting opportunities for you there. So we're going to skip over the units for a second, just our command options, right? Any standard British commander, but we also have access to Robert Maynard or Shalana Ogle, if we're pronouncing that right. So only the 2 special characters there, but again, plenty of cool stuff with them. But any of the standard British commanders will do. And again, picking the right one with the right command range for the ship that you're commanding is going to be key. And also just have the command points to do it right. So we're going to want at least 2, if not 3, 2 for the special ability up above, and maybe an extra one for something else. So now let's get into the units. As mentioned, Sea Dogs and Able Seamen, a solid core, as you would expect for a naval force, especially, again, the British Navy, Royal British Navy. And, in and of themselves, great units. Sea Dogs certainly up there, but getting all this extra stuff on top of it, right? So they're both going to have tough, and then we can get some good things going with that Force Commander special rule. Now, if that was all we had, would be a little bit shaky in some aspects, but we have plenty of good support units. Certainly we have British regulars. We saw that with the British Army list. This is, again, not just like random militia, colonial militia, or some variant of that. These are the regulars, right? The redcoats, quote unquote. Backed up also with grenadiers here again. So really some heavy hitters as far as just outright fighting goes in the support section here. We also are picking up a little bit of the Dutch here with the Zeeleden and the Enterplague. Great units, actually, in and of themselves again. So we have that to bring in if we want as well. And then finally, just European sailors, just to have, again, more quality. sailors, the unaligned ones there. So you have everything that you need. Again, fantastic core units that have gotten a very solid upgrade, and then backed up by whatever you really need for the heavy lifting as far as fighting goes. With these support units, right? You can't really go wrong. So it's a tough nut to crack, right? With these guys, if you have an experienced commander who knows how to get the best of their ships and operate that, and then also just make use of the support staff, as it were, it's going to be a tough battle for anybody. But certainly, in the right hands, if you master list, you're going to do really well. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you've played the Royal Navy. How did you customize your list? And obviously based on the size of the game, where do you feel the strengths lie? Have you come up against them, and how did that go, depending on what list you had or what faction? Hit us up in the comments. Looking forward to hearing all your stories on that. Like and subscribe, and we will have more Blood and Plunder for you soon. Thanks for watching.